Hola chicos, how y'all doing, man? Oh, it's a Sunday, the 7th of Feb. We are here with the Nautic Blue S580. I got this puppy 2 years ago. I love it. Now, I got to bring a topic to you. You know, a lot of people keep talking about Russia collapsing, Russia having a weak economy. The projected growth for 2026 is 0.8 to 1%. The Russians expect slightly higher, but okay, the International Monetary Fund came out with such a projection. And there's a lot of videos, I've been seeing a lot of videos, how Russia is collapsing, how Russia is running out of men and weapons. And we kept hearing this for the last many years, already 4 years. Third day into the war started people saying, oh, Russia running out of missiles, Russia running out of soldiers. The amount of cope, my dear friends, that we keep hearing every day, it's ridiculous at this point. Understand that Russia is the largest economy in Europe. For those who do not know, nominal GDP doesn't get you a cup of coffee. The real way to calculate GDP, or the best way to understand GDP, is to look at purchasing power. Going by purchasing power for 2025, 2024, Russia is the fourth largest economy in the world, right after China, US, India. And for those who understand the importance of purchasing power, you know that it makes a very big difference when a kilo of tomatoes in India costs about 20 cents, while the same kilo of tomatoes in Belgium costs about €2.5, right? So there's a big difference, folks. Russia is therefore a 7.26 trillion in equivalent dollars. It is the fourth largest economy in the world. So that's the first thing. And then people are surprised that, oh my God, they're not collapsing yet. There's a lot of noise about, oh look, they sold about 200 tons or 300 tons of gold from their national wealth fund. Well, they seem to forget that Russia is potentially the second or the first largest deposits of gold in the world, potentially up to 12,000 tons. They still hold a reserve of 2.3 tons. They sold about 300 tons. They have an annual production between 250 to 300 tons. So is it such a big deal? No, not necessarily. They are able to dig it out of the earth in a year. And they sold gold at historically gold high prices. So I don't know what the cope is. I understand, yes, Russians have a slowdown in their economy. Their interest rates are higher, and certain things like cucumbers, maybe the fuel is about 10% more expensive, milk, cheese, some things like that. Is it collapsing? I don't think so. Are we all gonna collapse together? Yeah, probably. That's more like it. Why? Because if anybody has a practical look at the European economy, you will see that the European economy is expected to grow at 1 to 1.5% this year. You will see that the expected growth for Germany is about 0.8%. For France, it's about 0.8%. For Belgium, it's almost the same. So I don't know, what are we on about? Because Russians, in the middle of a special military operation, like they call it, are still able to manage close to 1%. What is our excuse? I mean, the national debt in France is expected to cross 120% in 2027. In this year, it's about to be 118% of GDP. The German economy has about 70% debt to GDP ratio. If you're looking at the UK, it's more or less the same. We are up to our eyeballs in debt in Belgium, in Europe. In many countries, even the strong ones like Poland, have very high deficit in terms of GDP, up to 5.5%. They expect the same more or less for Russia this year. So if we are to compare Russia solely and say, yeah, they're having a slowdown in their economy, sure, yeah, absolutely. They're in the middle of a special military operation. The last 2.5, 3 years, their economy heated up due to the war economy. They have over 1.5 to 2 million people working exclusively in the defense industry, churning out all kinds of weapons like S-400s, flankers, Felon, fifth generation fighter aircraft to artillery. And some estimate that Russia could be producing, in my opinion, as high as 1 million shells a month or more, because real capacity of Russian production is really unknown. The Ukrainians make estimates, but those estimates are far surpassed when you see the usage on the battlefield. But the Russians have had a stellar, rise the last couple of years. Their GDP went up to 4%. It was overheating, though, so they took drastic action to increase interest rates to over, I don't know, what is it, 16% or so. Yeah, it's much more difficult to borrow in Russia at the moment, but it's not catastrophic. Yes, and yes, they do have attacks on their oil infrastructure, gas tankers, oil tankers, and if you look at a recent Reuters report, the output between 2024 and 2025 of Russian oil actually only reduced 0.7%, despite the fact that the last half of 2025 had a lot of Ukrainian attacks on Russian gas and oil infrastructure. So the output hasn't really dropped, folks. The prices have increased maybe 10-15% at the fuel pump for the Russians. For the most part, they're okay. Are they having a bit more inflation? Sure. But if you've noticed the inflation in Belgium, you would have noticed that in a short period of 2-3 years, the price of a courgette or an aubergine is now 70, it went from 70 cents to over 3.5 euros in certain stores. So it really depends on kind of products you're looking at. And yes, Europe is having a bad time too, folks. To think that Russia is the only one who's having a bad time is kind of silly. If you look at yourself in Germany, you have the highest bankruptcy since 2015. Some say since 2009. So it's kind of ridiculous to compare yourself. You have stagnating economies in Europe. You have stagnating economy in Russia. Okay, they have issues. But we have drastic, dire issues as well, folks. We have issues with illegal immigration, we have issues with filth, cleanliness, crime. You couldn't buy a Rolex and walk down the street in London. You couldn't even walk down the street in London without your phone out in your hand. They have those stickers in purple telling you, oh, watch out, you might get nicked, right? So it's silly. It's really silly. Everybody has challenges on planet Earth. Every country has challenges. The United States has challenges with excessive debt. A huge amount of their budgets goes into interest. The same happens in France. The same happens in Belgium. In Belgium, we have a deficit of 46 billion euros. And we're heading to being broke, folks. Why? Because we in Europe have signed up to a taco president, apparently. He's a taco president. Remember, he's an nincompoop. He doesn't know what he's doing, but somehow we have signed up to pay up to 5% in GDP in spending in the next couple of 3 years. 3 years, we're about to hit that mark. And we're going to be spending 5% of GDP. Just so you know, the GDP of Belgium is about 640 something billion euros. We are expected to spend 2% of that in of GDP in defense purchases currently, which is amounting to about 13 billion euros. And then we see that over the next years, once you get to 5%, keeping GDP figure more or less the same, you're going from 12 to 33 billion euros. Just so you know, that's yearly spending. So you are signing up to spend 20 billion, at least more, if GDP remains the same, which will be the case because you will stagnate. you are stagnating, you will stagnate, you will be lucky if you have a percent in GDP growth every year annually analyzed till for the next 10 years, because you don't want to take any positions regarding energy. You don't want to build nuclear energy. You don't want to invest too much on, or you're slow to do that, and your costs of, setting up a new nuclear power plant is like extraordinarily high. Take a look at the UK building its first nuclear reactor in a long time. It's costing them a whopping 29 to 35 billion pounds, folks. So you and you're going into 5% of GDP in Belgium. So if you do the math, right, so that's 20 billion extra every year. So in a space of 10 years, you're about to be spending over 200 billion euros of money that you do not have, which you really have to print and borrow and beg, borrow, steal. I think Europe is about to go broke. I don't think you will have money to finance your healthcare, your free healthcare, your free education, your free yada, 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 and everything else, my friends. I think it's time to really understand that we're all in this boat together. Huh? God put us on planet Earth to negotiate, deal, make peace, okay? And the best thing, if we are to continue down this path that we are going to find, we are going to try to have Russia defeated, strategically defeated. You will be the one being defeated as well. There is no way around it. They are one of the world's largest, if not the world's largest combined energy supplier, be it the largest producer of uranium used in reactors, to oil, gas. It's not even close, folks. So please, if you are a European, think rationally, focus on your own economy. You will see that in Spain you have almost 9% of unemployment. In Finland you have 10% of unemployment. In Sweden you have 8% of unemployment. Yeah, rich, wealthy Sweden, by the way, just so you know. These are real facts. You can Google this shit. I have nothing to lie to you about. I'm just putting a perspectives that you can find to yourself. You can do this research for yourself. I don't have all that time because, yeah, I've got kids, I got cars to wash and other shit to do. So, do your own research and see for yourself, okay? If you're having a wonderful economy in Europe, I don't think so. It's overall stagnating. Some places may be doing better than others. Okay, so this blatant, useless, comparisons to Russia, stop it. Really, look at yourself in the mirror, and you will find that you have much to improve. Be it on crime, immigration, tax reform, pension reform. Focus on that, okay? If you're in Finland, boo-boo, you're a small country, you should be focused on youth unemployment, which is 17%. In Spain, it's 25%. Ridiculous. Guys, what are you doing, okay? If you're under the illusion that there are 20% of Russians or 17% of youth Russians are not working, you're deluded. They have an unemployment of 2.2%, I believe, okay? So focus on European issues, European problems. Make peace with Russia. It's one of the it's the smartest thing you can do, because the United States is now going to focus on its own hemisphere. It's forced you to buy huge amounts of gas. You still, till end of 2025, would get up to 70 to 75 million barrels of oil, refined petroleum from India, which was sending you refined crude, by the way. Now, if India stops doing that, you will start to feel the pain too, okay? You have energy that doesn't come, you don't have much of your own energy. You need Russia, you need cheap energy. You need to go back to pipe gas. You need to stop taxing diesel overtly. All these solutions must work together. Okay, you cannot demonize diesel and petrol at this moment in time. You need to allow technologies to evolve, and over time you will have better energy sources. But at the moment, you got to keep your inflation in check. You got to allow people to choose what they want to drive and not force electric like you are. Come on, fucking diesel. I can go from here to Switzerland in a diesel. I don't need to buy. I spent almost 25 grand extra on this car, right? Sticker price over 130K when I ordered it. Okay? Because it's a plug-in hybrid, because I had to make advantage of taxes. If I had to get a diesel, I could have got this thing for about 110 G's, right? Okay. And if it was a diesel, the monthly benefit in kind was 1,200 euros a month. That would go off from my gross salary instead of 400 euro now. What the hell are we doing? Why are we taxing diesel? Why are we doing all this while America is about to... Look at American GDP, 4.2% or 4% last quarter. America is focused on growth. America is focused on unleashing its power and making trade deals and everything. Yes, we made some trade deals with India, but don't kid yourself. We are sandwiched in between two great powers, India, Russia and US, and we need to balance each other. We can do business with the Americans because they have a huge economy, they have a huge consumer base, and we're able to send our products, European products, to America, and we do send them more than they send us. It's a fact. So any disturbance in that trade will result in job losses here, economic losses here, and keep in mind 30% of all foreign direct investments into the European Union comes from the United States. So we need to work with them as well, but we need to work with the Russians too. It's a fact. You may not like what I'm saying. Those lands in Ukraine are gone, children. It's over. Okay? If you continue to believe that we need to continue to support Ukraine on a suicidal mission that is only continuing to degrade its demographics like crazy, it's insane. Guys, stop it. Okay? You're about to be hit in about 3 to 5 years with a double whammy of excessive spending on Ukraine, excessive debt, and then spending up to 5% of GDP in defense spending. You do not have money for that. You shall go broke, okay? You shall go broke. Full of a took, like they say. No, stop it, really stop it. You will go broke. You will not have money for it doesn't take a genius. Mathematics is quite simple. It's 2 plus 2 is 4, my friend. Okay? Going from 2% of GDP to 5% of GDP when you are all borrowed out in the meantime, by the way. How are you going to do this? No. Okay, do better. Okay. That is my advice for Europeans, for my fellow Europeans. I love you so much. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to tell you that I love being here. I came from India 25 years ago, not from my own choice. I came with my parents. They had to work here. My dad got, an opportunity to work here for an Indian bank, and I'm doing well. And I want to continue doing well. I have kids here. I want them to thrive and have a beautiful future. That can only happen if we stop deluding ourselves, okay? If we stop deluding ourselves that, we are going to be fighting Russia. We are not going to be fighting Russia and winning, okay? That's not happening, folks. That's a giant nuclear superpower. Leave them alone. Stop poking at the bear, like we say. Stop it. It's old news, New news would be to make a deal with them, Let them take the lands that they want, or more or less agree on that shit. Ukraine, stop with the NATO bull. Nobody wants you in NATO. Stop it. Nobody wants you. Stop begging for the sky to be closed. No. Negotiate with your neighbor. Give up those lands that you never had. Those are lands that belong to ethnic Russians, by the way, that spoke Russian. They still speak Russian. There are videos from Odessa that come out every day, and people are cursing at the TCK, the Ukrainian recruits that keep pulling people off the streets, right? And you can hear the pideratsi and the suki bliat, and you can hear the Russian bliat. What are you talking about? Those lands are gone, okay? Those lands do not belong to Ukraine. Ukraine, I mean, well, they were Ukrainian, but it's gone because they messed up by treating the Russians like pariahs instead of treating them like their neighbors, like their brothers, and learning to live with them. It's a suicidal mission. They're on one way unless they're about to, you know, Lindsey Graham said it right. It's either going to be till the last Ukrainian or they cut a deal. And I do not want the last Ukrainian to perish. I really don't. I really, you know, they fight courageously. Don't get me wrong. They fight courageously. They think they're fighting courageously, but it's pointless. It's pointless. Stop it. Stop it. You're only doing worse for yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors. You need to make peace with the Russians. You need to make peace with your neighbors. To live peacefully with your neighbors is one of the most important things you can do because they're your neighbors, okay? So that's my message for all my friends out there today. If you still love what you hear, if you believe, my intentions are true, folks. It's all about peace. Right? It's all about well-being. It's all about, you know, this European dream only works because we are peaceful. It only works when we are loving and caring towards each other and able to travel this magnificent place, Italy, Spain, Greece. The moment we go into disillusions, we are going to be into real trouble, okay? So, I love y'all. If you like the message, subscribe. You see, I'm doing this. I've had 12, 13 videos now. It takes a bit of time because, yeah, I have a lot of other things to do. But when I can find time, my friends, I hope you continue to listen to me. I really appreciate your time. Have a nice Sunday and a wonderful week ahead. Say bye to the puppy. Say bye-bye. You like it? Yeah, I made a nice choice, yeah. Have a lovely time. Bye.